Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into the 10-star KIZUNA clash against SHANKS for the 6+ V2 SHANKS KIZUNA clash that will be coming in a little bit less than 24 hours from me recording this video. And in today's video, we're doing some prep teams with Otama, No Otama, breaking down the stages and stuff like that. Now, I have put out a bunch of videos, some 1 team versus alls, some EXP teams, all that fun stuff. But in today's video, we're sort of catering it towards either bringing Otama, not bringing Otama, and building out some more accessible or buildable teams for you guys to help take down this particular event. Now, SHANKS does seem very, very good. He's definitely going to be something that's going to be very, very valuable in the next couple of months. With the boosted meta, obviously these 6+s hold very, very strong. Plus, he does seem very, very good in Rumble, so you do want to stay on top of your assists. Whether you can find Otama captains or not, Otama's going to help you guys get more tickets, and ideally, I would use Otama when you can. However, if you can't, hopefully these teams help you guys out as well. If you enjoy the video, belt like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. If you guys want to see some other stuff with this content, let me know down below. This will probably be my last preparation video before the content actually released. I've got a bit of a headache and a lot of team building going on, a lot of stuff in real life with Christmas and all that sort of stuff too. But if you guys demand it, if you guys put enough love into it, I will definitely look at trying to make the time for it wherever I can possible. Hopefully you enjoy the video. With that said, let's take a look at the first variation, which is against Strength. Now, against Strength, slashers, shooters, and powerhouse get all the good stuff. On stage 2, there's 5 turns of attack down. There is a barrier for either a tandem or a Wano slot. And this can be random. Then there's 5 units in the back. They run away after 1 turn, so don't stress too much about them. They're not too much worry. On the final stage, there is full immunity. There is block slots, you get lock slots as well. There's damage reduction over a certain amount for 5 turns, 6 turns of despair after threshold, and there is a damage limiter, so you can only do 50% of the enemy's maximum HP in the first turn, and then you can kill them on the second turn. After that first turn, though, you can only use 1 special, and after level 31, the damage reduction over a certain amount, so the threshold goes up by 1 turn, the despair goes up by 1 turn, and there is now 2 turns of special reverse. So a lot to play with, but the first team looks a little bit like this. Now, it is led by Zoro. Whenever I see damage limiter, especially if it's 50% or above, Zoro is going to be your man. Zoro can actually double this, which is super nice, so that way you can actually take him out in 1 turn. But the only problem with this is that if you are bringing an Otama friend captain, you're going to struggle to get around stage 2. Now, on stage 2, this team can work in 2 different ways. If you get a Wano orb barrier, you're going to be fine. You can just use the Hiyori special. Everyone gets Wano orbs, and you can actually just kill with the Wano orbs that way. If you don't, you're going to have to use the super swap of Odin and Toki. Odin and Toki are actually so good for this second stage because they don't not only give the Wano slot, but they also give the tandem slot, and they get their super swap charge. It works exceptionally well. They're also going to be our color affinity booster, and they can remove despair on the final stage. Hiyori is like a godsend because she gives Wano orbs at the start, but you are going to have to get around threshold on the final stage, and it's 6 turns of it. There aren't a lot of slashers, there aren't a lot of shooters or powerhouse units that can actually get around this, but Bardo Cavendish 6+ is actually a slasher, and they can actually increase our orb boost as well. Also, if you take a bunch of damage, they become color affinity booster, but I believe that's only for Driven, so it's a bit of a shame there. They're really just here for the threshold, that's it. To get around the attack down, we have the Tashigi, the Pedro, and the K-Dad support. I know that Pedro support is one that doesn't come around all that often, but it was kind of all that I had to work with. It was a bit unfortunate. Hopefully they put him in at least the metal shop for you guys if you're missing him, but you could probably use something else in Carrot Wander's replacement and then just like use the cooldown reducer that way. But Carrot Wander are not only great for the cooldowns and the Pedro support, but they're our orb booster for the team. Plus, if you limit break expand them, they actually get 3 turns of cooldown, which they give to themselves, which means you can use them again on that second turn. That's your 1 special, because Zoro is actually a 2-turn attack boost and conditional boost. Now, none of this matters if you get the Wano orb barrier. You should be able to get Zoro into his M estate, eat a whole bunch of Wano orbs, and actually kill on the first turn. But if you get that tandem orb, you're going to be stuck having to kill with 2 turns, but that's where Otama comes in. Otama can remove the despair with her special, plus she heals, but the big upside to her is she actually increases the conditional boost of Zoro, and she increases the slot effect boost from Carrot Wander. So you're going to easily kill on that first turn, And then when you use Carrot Wonder on the second turn, you're going to have that conditional boost and stuff like that. So the team should work nicely. Plus, if you can't find an Otama friend captain, you can run double Zoro here, and the team actually works a little bit nicer because you can use your friend captain Zoro on turn 2, turn his Wano orb into a tandem orb, and that way you'll easily be able to get through the barrier and you can bink the final stage nice and easy. The next team looks a little bit like this, and it's going towards a more cerebral shooter-centric meta. We're not using Otama as a friend captain, we're honing in on Uta. Uta 6++, can get around special reverse with her captain ability, plus she can be like a 3-turn attack boost, easily taking out stage 2, carrying her attack boost into stage 3, and then again for that second turn after the 50%. However, she can also be your orb booster as well. That works out really, really nicely, and then you can use Ben Beckman Lucky Roo to increase it. Ben Beckman Lucky Roo are great because they can actually give you a chain boundary effect for 3 turns. Plus, with them as captains, you can actually get a superclass to shooters and to cerebrals. So both Ben Beckman Lucky Roo and Uta are getting a double superclass. On top of that, we have Despair removal with Sabo and Ace. With the Luffy support too, they're a 3-turn attack booster. Orb booster. That works really, really nicely. You can just use Uta though, like she buffs shooters. Everyone on this team is going to be shooter or cerebral. That works out nicely. To get around some extra Despair, we have the Nami support on Usopp Yasop. Usopp Yasop also can be your conditional booster for this team, as well as your base stats, and they give resistance down. So shooters and free spirits are hitting like 60% harder, which is really, really nice. We have Boa to get around some attack down on stage 2. She works exceptionally well, plus she's just basically going to make it easy to kill. And then on the final stage to get around Threshold, we're using Sanji and Pudding. You can do something like Legend Carrot and swap into Captain to get around Threshold, but this unit, if you start as Pudding, is going to get cooldowns, and then you can just switch into Sanji, and then that way you have that extra quick unit too. Their color affinity boost is great for the Cerebral team, the Cerebral units, I should say, but you are probably going to want to use a Sabo, so then that way you can actually get the color affinity there. But, look, you could probably just, not use the super swap and then just use the color affinity that way. If you do have Ben Beckman Lucky Roo at level 5 as well, you can actually get access to their super tandem. The thing is though, you are going to have to find a way to get a tandem orb. That's probably going to be the big challenge with this particular team if you're trying to activate that. But there might be support there somewhere that you can use for a tandem orb. But nevertheless, this team's going to burst through the barrier on turn 2 with all the barrier pen shenanigans, and should do very nicely if you guys aren't finding Otama friend captains. The next variation is the Tricolor, where fighters, strikers, and free spirits get all the good stuff. On stage 2, there is 5 turns of burn, 2 stacks of hunger, and on defeats, you're going to take 100,000 damage. There's a lot of nasty stuff happening there. On the final stage, there is going to be mixed types of quick, dex, psi, dex, quick. So 20% each way. It makes it a little bit challenging with your taps and how you're designing with the HP scale of your actual team tap. But it is kind of cool that they are doing this stuff. But if you use rainbow damage, none of that's going to matter anyway. There is delayed defense down and poison immunity. You get intimidation for slot effects. So if you're bringing a 1-turn slot effect booster, you are going to lose that. 5 turns of damage reduction, 9 turns of bind, so 6 after sockets. And after level 31, you get an extra turn of damage reduction, extra turn of bind, and 5 turns of threshold. Now, as you guys can immediately see, Gear 5 and the Gear 5 combination is going to be the best play for this particular fight. Gear 5 has the ability to bypass bind and defensive effects in his Gear 5 form. With a friend captain 6+, if you build out a rainbow team as well, you can actually get access to the rainbow damage, which means you don't have to worry about any of this multi-type shenaniganry. The downside here is you do need to bring one of every color on the team, and ideally, you're going to want to bring a bunch of straw hats. However, the way this team is operating, we're going to use the super swap of Ace and Yamato on stage 2, and then use their special to just make sure that we definitely kill on that particular stage. They have hunger here, and they're going to be our strength unit. Hitting through the burn isn't going to matter because when we die, we're just going to come back as Gear 5 anyway, and that way we can revive thanks to the 100k and the burn damage regardless. I'm not sure if the burn damage will trigger after the 100k or how that's going to work to affect the rush, but look, it should be fine. You should have plenty of HP with this particular team, and I guess you can sort of just plan your taps because you have a chain boundary and attack boost anyway on this particular stage, and then just tank the 100k and survive, and if that's the case, you can use the Super EX anyway. But on the final stage, you have a color affinity boost with your Gear 5. With your friend captain, he's going to increase attack boost, which you get from Zoro and from Nami Robin, because you have one of every color. You are going to be turning everything into rainbow, so that way Nami Robin are actually going to be a 2-turn orb boost for the entire team, which is super nice. Sanji, he gives you chain boundary, chain boost, and base stats, so he's doing all of that for you. And then you have the Super Tandem of Zoro, who's going to be your attack booster and your conditional booster, because the enemy is not immune to the Super EX of your friend captain, so you're going to have 2 times extra damage. Your Psy Orbs are going to be hitting at 3 times damage, which this whole team will have a full board of Psy Orbs. And then you can use the Gear 5 friend captain to increase the attack boost on the final stage. So you're going to have basically everything under the sun except for a double conditional boost here, which is, it is what it is. You can like bug stall to get around that intimidation if you want to, but like, look, who cares? It's 10-star KIZUNA, and this way we just want to be able to just bink it, and this team should do so much goddamn damage. However, I know some people evolve their Gear 5. You don't have a spare copy, and look, I'm here for that. Just bring a 6+ and then bring a friend captain 6-star. The team's interchangeable. Obviously, you're going to lose damage if you don't have a max rush, but at the same time, it's still going to be very effective because you have that rainbow damage. So no matter which way you look at it, you can run it this way, you can run it the other way you just saw. As long as you're bringing both Gear 5s, you're going to be in for a good time. If you do have the 6-star and you can find Otama friend captains, you can do something like this. Utilizing Gear 5 as captain, like I said, he's just so good. Damage reduction, bind removal, all the kit and caboodle. Unfortunately, you lose his orb boost, and that's like the only downside to the unit. But if you don't even want to get through the burn and the death damage, you just don't even need to worry about it because you can just use his revive. On turn 2, though, I did bring this Zoro because I understand a lot of people don't have Super Tandem Zoro level 5 or all that other funky stuff, but you can easily use this guy on turn 2. He's going to remove the burn. He's going to give you an orb buff. He can basically get his special back too, to be honest. He has that ridiculous sailor ability, but that way you can then save Ace and Yamato for the final stage. You can then use their super swap to get the burn, and then you can use their special to get a conditional boost, plus they will be then your attack booster on top of being your strength unit as well, so that works out really, really nicely. We've got Odin here. Odin's another option for a 2-turn orb booster. He's a 2.75, just kind of like Nami and Robin. He's going to lose 1 turn of it, but look, it's not the end of the world because he does 2 turns. And then finally, once again, we have Sanji here. Sanji's just our chain boundary, our chain booster, all that fun shenanigan stuff. You can just replace him with like Wano Law if you really want to. Just basically any unit that's going to give you some sort of chain boundary or chain boosting effect. Hell, you even use Super Tandem Nami if you really want to. You will lose obviously chain boundary, but you have that with the super swap of Ace Yamato, and that's going to work out really, really nicely. But Sanji, he just works so well because you can actually activate his rush. Now, Otama's going to be doing more damage on this team. You have the conditional boost of Otama here as well if you want to use that. But Otama is the boosted character, and she's going to be hitting really, really hard. And if you use Sanji's rush, you're actually going to get the attack buff for Otama, and then you can just funnel into like another super tandem somewhere else if you'd like. Like I said, if you have Zoro there, you can bring Zoro and then just sort of die with that burn and that death damage anyway. But if you can find Otama, this team should work well. Should do quite nicely, and it'll definitely clear the past level 31. Moving on to Int now. Strength, Dex, and Psi characters get all the good stuff. On stage 2, you take an 80% HP cut, 2 turns of recovery bind, and then there's 5 turns of resilience. So, very annoying stuff on this particular stage. And honestly, like, Momo, this is why Momo is just so good. He takes care of so much different stuff. If you guys want to check out one team versus all with Momo, go check out the XP teams because that was actually crazy. On the final stage, there is full immunity. There is an intimidation for an attack, base attack, and slot boost for 1 turn. 1 turn of special reverse, and if you're below 90% HP, there is going to be an interrupt. Now, I do believe this is on entry, but correct me in the comments if you guys disagree. I believe that when you are 90% or below on entry of the stage, that's when this happens. If you aren't below 90% HP, you're not going to get this interrupt. And if you cut your HP, it's not going to trigger. That's the way I read it anyway, because this is like all preemptive stuff anyway, right? On conditional effects, the enemy will blow away your positive effects, and then after level 31, the special reverse goes up by a turn. There's 8 turns to spare, so 5 after sockets, and then 5 turns of damage reduction, so a whole bunch of nasty stuff. But once again, Gear 5, he's so good. 6-star Gear 5 is just amazing for this fight. Not only is he great for this fight, but like he's boosted, which is crazy. So his rush is actually going to go nuts. On stage 2, this chopper is elite. I would highly recommend picking this chopper up. You're going to need him for Grand Voyage anyway, so I would just, if you got the tickets and you're a new player, head over to the treasure map shop, pick him up, max him out now. Even just get him to the point where you can use him for this KIZUNA. It doesn't have to be max, just usable, but you are going to want to max him later down the line anyway for Grand Voyage eventually. He's great because he removes the burn, and he can Well, that's not for this fight, but he just basically gives you a full heal. He fully heals you, and that way you're above that 90% threshold, so it's really, really nice. To get around the resilience, we have this particular free-to-play Yamato. She's excellent because she's a Yamato character, so she goes into the Gear 5 Super EX. We have Wano Law to be our 2-turn orb booster, because remember, there is an intimidation, so you will lose 1 turn of that, and because your captain is Free Spirit and Fighter, you get all the effects of Wano Law, which is great. 2.25 times orbs on top of a chain boundary, which is excellent, and then Otama is actually going to increase that. Otama can actually give you a conditional boost with her super type. All you need is a Luffy on the team, which is nice and easy. She'll set defense for 50% and then give you a double conditional boost. And then her special will not only increase the effects of Law's orb boost by 0.5, but it'll also increase her conditional boost by 0.5, which is really, really strong. Imagine like Super Tandem Nami just like in a special. Like, that's what that buff actually does, which is really, really cool. Finally, we've got Garp. We don't have to worry about the special reverse, but I'm not 100% certain how that Despair is going to function. If the special reverse is before the Despair, like it's stated in the actual infograph, you will be fine. But if not, this Garp takes care of it anyway. So this way you get an attack boost for 2 turns. You will lose 1 of it because of obviously the intimidation. But you also get 2 turns of cooldown because your captain is Free Spirit as well. Finally, you have Color Affinity with Gear 5. You have the orbs hitting harder. And with this particular team, you should be pretty hunky-dory. Otama Super Tandem needs 3 characters that we're not going to have, so we're not worried about Super Tandem with this team. It's just about sort of getting it done, and it should work very nicely above level 30 as well. If you want to do more damage, though, you can do a double Gear 5 situation, and double Gear 5 is so good because you get around the Despair and you get around the special reverse. And this team, it's not going to worry about either. Because you already have super effective against all types, being an int boss, you don't need 1 of every color to make this unit work. But this Gear 5, he's so good because he's going to be your increase to your attack boost. Not your actual attack boost, if it's attack booster himself. His Super EX gives you a super type to Psy, but your friend captain also does the same thing, and then you get Super Free Spirit. This guy is going to be your color affinity booster because you are going to lose his orb boost. Again, intimidation and artificial difficulty sucks, but it's there. We have to deal with it, and we move on. With the Super EX, your Psy orbs are going to be at a 3 times multiplier, and then when you use your captain, you're going to have Beppo trigger. If you need to flip your Gear 5s around, flip your Gear 5s around. Like, it's not a problem. Once again, we're using Chopper on stage 2, so that way we can heal back up and not worry about the interrupt. We then have Momo to get around the resilience with his end of turn damage, plus he's a 4-turn attack booster, which means we don't have to worry about the intimidation on the final stage. Nami's base stats is going to get removed, however, she's our Super Tandem unit, and she is also going to be our chain booster, which works exceptionally well. And then finally, for our orbs, I'm using the new anniversary Super Tandem Shanks. He's amazing because he can actually give me 2 turns of an orb boost, but he's also going to set defense to 0 for 2 turns. And then, with the support of Zoro, he's going to give me a conditional boost, which won't trigger that interrupt. And then Nami can actually come into effect that way. So, that's the way the team's going to operate there against Int. And they are the preparation teams for you guys to hopefully help you take down this particular event. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, whether you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys once again once KIZUNA starts, and best of luck. Keep an eye out, because you bet your ass I'm going to be getting this 6+ Shanks very, very fast and doing a bit of a world tour. But let me know what you guys think down below. Most importantly, like I said, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.